There is a great storm that rages in the modern world, a storm not outside of us, but within us. It is the storm of distraction. So many people walk through life seeking clarity, longing for purpose, but cannot find it, not because it does not exist, but because they cannot see it. The noise is too loud. The distractions are too many. Their mind is scattered like the leaves in a fierce wind. Focus is not just a tool. It is the gatekeeper of your future. When the mind is undisciplined, it runs wild. Like an untrained animal, it wastes its energy chasing meaningless things. Social media, gossip, comparisons, and constant stimulation. These are the poisons we voluntarily drink every day, and then we wonder why our hearts are unsettled. We wonder why progress feels out of reach. We ask ourselves why the path ahead looks cloudy and uncertain. The truth is simple. You cannot see clearly while standing in a fog, and the fog in today's world is distraction. If you want a future of purpose and inner wealth, not just material, but spiritual, you must become the master of your attention. Attention is energy. Where you place your attention, you place your life. If your focus is scattered, your progress will be scattered. If your attention is shallow, your life will lack depth. To focus means to filter. It means to remove. It means to choose what belongs in your mind and what does not. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every voice deserves your ear. Not every desire deserves your time. Clarity comes when you simplify. Power arises when you concentrate your energy. Just like the sun's rays are harmless when dispersed, but can set fire to the earth when focused through a magnifying glass, your potential becomes extraordinary when channeled with precision. So how do we do this? You begin by learning the discipline of silence. Every day, find moments to turn off the noise, put away the devices, detach from the external, and instead, turn your attention inward. Breathe deeply. Observe your thoughts, but do not cling to them. Learn to recognize the unnecessary chatter that fills your mind, and let it pass. You train your focus like you would train a muscle. At first, it is weak. It wanders, but with daily practice, it grows stronger. You begin with short periods of concentration, reading with full attention, listening with full presence, working with no distractions, and slowly your mind becomes sharp. Still, directed, you also make choices with greater awareness. Ask yourself constantly, does this serve my purpose? Does this activity, this conversation, this habit, bring me closer to who I want to become? If the answer is no, you release it. No judgment, no guilt, simply clarity. Your focus is your most sacred currency. Spend it wisely, because what you focus on repeatedly becomes your reality. There is an old saying, the hunter who chases 2 rabbits catches none. In life, when you chase many things at once, wealth, fame, approval, distractions, you catch nothing meaningful. But when you focus fully on one pursuit, one value, one purpose, your life begins to align. Peace enters, progress returns, the fog begins to lift. So if you are serious about changing your future, understand this. The first step is not to do more. It is to remove more. The world does not need more effort from you. It needs more presence, more clarity, more intention. Your future is waiting, but it cannot reveal itself until you filter out what does not belong. Do not let the noise steal your destiny. Begin today. Cut the distractions. Guard your attention and focus like your life depends on it, because it does. It is easy to feel inspired, to feel a spark of energy, a surge of emotion, a powerful speech, a beautiful sunset, a temporary success. These moments awaken motivation within us. But like fire that rises quickly, motivation also fades quickly. It burns bright, and then it disappears. That is why so many people start but never finish. They commit to the path but return to old habits. They speak of transformation but live in repetition, because they rely on motivation, the most unstable source of fuel. What endures is not motivation. What endures is discipline. Discipline is the quiet force that builds empires. It is the unseen effort, the early mornings, the late nights, the daily repetition when no one is watching. It is the decision to act, not just when you feel like it, but especially when you don't. Discipline is a contract you sign with yourself. And you sign it not with your words, but with your actions. There is a lesson we must all learn if we seek to elevate. Your emotions are visitors. Sometimes they are welcome, sometimes they are not. But discipline does not obey emotion. Discipline obeys commitment. To be disciplined is to become reliable, not to others, but to yourself. It means when you say, "I will do this," it gets done, not someday, not when the weather is right, but today, now, regardless of external condition. This is the path of mastery, not dramatic leaps, but consistent steps, over time, without interruption. So how do you cultivate this inner strength? First, you must understand that discipline is not punishment. It is liberation. It is the practice of taking control of your time, your energy, your habits. It is the art of setting boundaries, not to restrict life, but to protect what matters most. You train your discipline in small ways. Wake up with intention. Keep your promises, even the small ones. Choose healthy foods. Train your body. Limit your distractions. Speak less, do more. All these small acts, repeated daily, build inner strength. Over time, your discipline becomes who you are. It is not something you do. It becomes the way you live. And when you face difficulty, you don't fall apart. You don't abandon the path because of discomfort. You endure, you move forward because you are not carried by feeling. You are driven by purpose. Do not be deceived by the loudness of temporary excitement. Many people cheer at the starting line. Few cross the finish. Why? Because the path is not smooth. It is not made for the impatient or the easily distracted. The path is made for the disciplined. When you live by motivation, you give yourself excuses. You say, "I don't feel it today. I'll start tomorrow." But when you live by discipline, you say, "It is time. I move now. I keep going." And in this way, slowly but surely, you build your own inner empire, the empire of a clear mind, the empire of a strong body, the empire of peace, resilience, and self-respect. This empire is not built with shortcuts. It is built with presence, with effort, with discipline. You become a person of substance, a person who can be trusted, a person who rises above pleasure and instead seeks growth. And even when life becomes uncertain, even when the wind changes direction, you remain grounded, because discipline is not shaken by weather. It is rooted like the mountain, silent, immovable. So remember this. Motivation is fleeting. Excuses are easy, but discipline is the difference between desire and reality, between dream and manifestation. You may be tempted to wait until you feel ready, but understand the path will not wait for you. Life does not pause until you are in the mood. Greatness does not bend for your comfort, so begin now. Not tomorrow, now. Even if your steps are small, even if your mind resists, keep walking, keep building, because one day, when others are still talking about change, you will have become the change. And when they ask how you did it, you won't say, "I was motivated." You will say, "I was disciplined." In the silence of a calm morning, when the world has not yet begun its noise, You can hear something deeper, your breath, your heartbeat, your presence. In that moment, you are not in the past or the future. You are here in stillness, and that is where your true power lies. Peace is not something we find outside of ourselves. It is not given to us by others. It does not come from success, money, or control. Peace is an internal state, an alignment between your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. And when this inner harmony is achieved, you become immovable. Many chase power through force, by trying to control circumstances, manipulate outcomes, or dominate others. But this is not true strength. That type of power is fragile. It is constantly threatened by change, by chaos, by uncertainty. The moment the outside world shifts, they fall apart. But inner peace, true peace, is rooted. It cannot be disturbed by every wind that blows. It is not reactive. It is not noisy. It is still, quiet, firm, and from this stillness comes true power. Peace does not mean nothing happens. It means nothing disturbs you. It means you have trained your mind not to be a prisoner of emotion, not to be enslaved by fear, not to be controlled by anxiety. You no longer react, you respond. You no longer rush, you observe. You no longer fight battles that don't belong to you. You protect your energy, your space, and your clarity. This is what it means to master your inner world. So how do you begin? You begin by noticing. Throughout your day, observe the moments when you lose your peace. Is it when someone disrespects you, when things don't go as planned, when someone else's opinion shakes your confidence? In these moments, ask yourself, what am I allowing into my mind? Why does this disturb me? What part of me is still untrained? Peace does not mean being numb. It means being clear. A peaceful mind is not empty. It is focused. A peaceful person is not passive. They are powerful without aggression. You begin by creating space for stillness every day. In silence, breathe. In silence, listen, without judgment, without resistance. Just observe what rises inside you, and let it pass like clouds across the sky. This is how you learn not to chase every thought. This is how you learn not to attach to every emotion. And slowly, you begin to realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. You are not the waves, you are the ocean, and the deeper you go into yourself, the more strength you discover. From this center, you act, not out of fear, but out of clarity, not from impulse, but from presence. This is where wise decisions come from. This is where confidence is born. Not because you know everything, but because you trust yourself to face anything. When your inner world is calm, your outer world begins to reflect it. Not because life becomes perfect, but because you stop creating unnecessary chaos. You stop inviting unnecessary pain. You become a master of self, not a slave to the world. Even when storms come, and they will, you do not panic. You remain grounded, like the tree with deep roots. The winds may blow, but you do not fall. You bend, you breathe, and you return to center. And this peace becomes your power, because people can feel it. They may not understand it, but they sense it. They are drawn to it, because in a world of noise, the one who is still becomes magnetic. In a world of fear, the one who is calm becomes the leader. So protect your peace. Guard it as you would a sacred flame. Remove what disturbs it. Stay close to what nurtures it, and return to it, again and again, not just for yourself, but for those you lead, for those who follow your example, for those who need someone who doesn't just speak of strength, but lives it in silence. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of clarity. And when you control your inner world, the outer world begins to reflect the calm, the strength, and the purpose within you. This is true mastery. In a forest of distractions, many run in every direction, chasing shadows of success, echoes of approval, and fragments of fleeting desires. They say they want to grow. They say they want to rise. But their energy is scattered, their minds unfocused, and their hearts divided. To move forward in life, you must learn to stop chasing everything. Choose one thing, master it, devote yourself fully. This is not restriction. This is liberation. Imagine a river. When it spreads wide and shallow, its current is weak. It meanders, it floods, it loses momentum. But when that same water is channeled, narrow and deep, it gains force. It becomes powerful, it carves through rock, it shapes mountains, it becomes unstoppable. The same is true of your energy, your focus, your life. We live in a time when it is easy to start, but difficult to finish. So many begin a project, a goal, a habit, only to abandon it as soon as a new opportunity arises. They jump from one thing to another, hoping to find the secret, but there is no secret. There is only consistency, only repetition, only mastery, and mastery does not come from doing everything. It comes from doing one thing, well and with depth. The mind that is constantly stimulated, constantly distracted, never develops power. It becomes weak, impulsive, and addicted to novelty. But the mind that trains itself to stay on one task, one practice, one mission, becomes sharp, focused, alive. So ask yourself, what is your one thing? It may be your craft, your character, a purpose greater than yourself, a skill that elevates others, a path that brings meaning to your life. Whatever it is, commit to it, not casually, but with full presence. With deliberate effort, with patience, let this one thing shape your day, guide your actions, and determine your priorities. Let it become the foundation of your growth. You may be tempted to chase everything, to add more, to do more, to be more. But understand, growth is not about addition, it is about alignment. Success is not built on speed, it is built on depth. Peace does not come from having more, it comes from focusing on what truly matters. The truth is, when you try to do too much, you do nothing well. When you try to be everything, you lose yourself. And when you constantly seek something new, you never experience the beauty of going deep. Do not fear repetition. Repetition is how excellence is born. The tree grows tall because its roots grow deep. The warrior becomes strong because he trains the same movement, the same strike, until it becomes a part of his being. The artist becomes great not by painting thousands of pictures, but by pouring their soul into each stroke, one canvas at a time. The ordinary mind chases everything. The master's mind chooses one thing and stays. And it is through this staying, through this devotion, that transformation occurs. So how do you stay the course? You practice awareness. When the mind wanders, you gently return. When doubt appears, you remind yourself why you started. When boredom comes, you lean into it, not to escape, but to understand. You learn to love the simplicity of the process, the discipline of the path. And most of all, you remember, you are not here to impress. You are here to grow. You are not here to do everything. You are here to do what matters, with excellence. There is a silent power in those who focus on one thing. While others scatter their light, they become like the laser, precise, cutting, effective. While others seek applause, they seek mastery, and while others burn out, they endure. So if you are tired of feeling lost, scattered, or overwhelmed, step back, simplify, choose one thing, and give it everything. Not just for a day, but until your bones know it, until your breath moves with it, until your soul is aligned with it, because mastery is not about having more. It is about becoming more, through the discipline of less. And in the end, it is not the many paths that lead to greatness. It is the one path walked with full presence, with relentless effort, and with quiet devotion. Time is not your enemy. Time is not the reason your goals remain distant or your habits remain broken. The problem is not that you lack hours in the day. The problem is that you leak your power through distraction, through impulse, through undisciplined thought. You do not need more time. You need more self-control. Imagine a warrior preparing for battle. He does not blame the rising sun for starting too soon. He does not wait for the perfect weather. He sharpens his sword, centers his mind, and stands ready. He understands this. Preparation is power. Presence is power, and control over self is the foundation of all achievement. Most people live in constant reaction. They wake up late, already behind. They reach for their phone, already consuming. They jump from task to task, pulled by impulses, habits, desires. Never in control, always responding, always chasing. And yet they wonder why their life feels chaotic, why they are tired but not productive, why the days pass quickly but nothing meaningful gets done. The answer lies not in the ticking of the clock, but in the undisciplined mind. Self-control is the ability to command your thoughts, to regulate your emotions, to guide your actions. It is the strength to choose what is right over what is easy, to delay gratification, to resist temptation, to stay aligned with your purpose, even when comfort tries to seduce you. It is not easy, but it is necessary, because the mind left untrained becomes your greatest obstacle. It craves distraction, it avoids discomfort, it chases pleasure, it resists responsibility, and if you are not vigilant, it will waste not just your time, but your life. So how do we reclaim control? You begin by observing your patterns. What pulls you away from your path? What habits waste your energy? What triggers make you reactive? You do not judge yourself. You simply become aware. Because awareness is the first step toward mastery, then you begin small. You discipline your mornings. You create routines. You remove temptations. You set boundaries with technology, with people, with yourself. You begin to direct your time, not fill it. This does not mean living rigidly. It means living intentionally. It means your time serves your growth, not your distractions. And the more you practice, the more control you regain. The cravings weaken, the noise fades, the impulses lose power, and in their place, clarity returns. You begin to realize freedom is not doing whatever you want, whenever you want. Freedom is having the strength to do what is necessary, especially when you do not want to. This is the warrior's way. This is the monk's discipline. To choose structure over chaos, to choose effort over ease, to choose self-control over self-destruction. Every great transformation begins with this realization. You already have enough time. What you lack is not hours, but discipline, not minutes, but presence. And every time you act in alignment with your higher self, every time you choose meditation over scrolling, silence over gossip, water over indulgence, you reclaim your time. You reclaim your power. This is how mountains are moved, not in a day, but in the quiet mastery of daily self-control. So if you wish to live deeply, to create meaning, to grow, do not wait for more time. Use what you have wisely. Guard your energy, command your focus, sharpen your discipline, because the greatest gift you can give yourself is not more hours in the day. It is the power to govern your own mind. Time will pass, no matter what. But whether you drift or rise, that is the result of self-control. Master that, and your time will begin to work for you, not against you. We began this journey with 3 simple words: focus, discipline, peace. But now you understand. They are not just words. They are doors. Doors that open into deeper awareness, stronger character, and true transformation. If you truly desire to change your life, you do not need more noise, more motivation, or more external tools. You need to train your inner world. You need to direct your attention, not toward everything, but toward the right thing. You need to develop discipline, not as punishment, but as personal freedom. You need to protect your peace, not as avoidance, but as a source of silent strength. You must stop scattering your energy, choose one thing, master it with presence, not once, but again and again, like the breath, like the step, like the beat of your own heart, and finally you must stop blaming time. Time is not your enemy. You already have all the time you need. The question is, are you in control of yourself? Are you using that time with intention? Change does not happen suddenly. It does not happen loudly. It happens quietly, daily, through your decisions, your rituals, your awareness. And when you change your inner state, the world around you begins to shift, not because it has changed, but because you have. You are no longer pulled by distraction. You are guided by focus. You are no longer dependent on emotion. You are rooted in discipline. You are no longer consumed by the world. You are anchored in peace. This is not the end of the journey. It is only the beginning, but it is a beginning made not with noise, but with stillness, not with force, but with clarity, not with urgency, but with truth. Remember this: focus gives you direction. Discipline gives you consistency. Peace gives you strength. Master these three, and your life will no longer be a reaction. It will become a reflection of the warrior, the monk, the master within you.